Production seems to indicate we are going back down to the next round fairly shortly here. So we're going to be seeing Lewis in the finals here with this Storm deck, this High Tide Storm deck. What kind of cards do you want against a deck like this?
Well, if we can get the Reanimator deck back that we saw in the first one, that is...
Jeremy did lose, unfortunately.
Oh,
so
Jeremy lost.
We're going to be seeing whoever beat Jeremy in round 2, I believe it was Kenneth, is going to be going up against Lewis in this. I don't know what Kenneth is playing, but what kind of cards do you want to see against a unfair deck like this?
You want a lot of disruption, which is what we saw in Reanimator. You want duress. You want to be able to knock out the key cards. If you can duress away the Brain Freeze or even some of the important card draw spells or High Tide. So I think it's going to be very likely that Lewis. I'm calling Lewis for this one. I think it's very likely he wins, but I don't know against anything. I don't know what the other one is, but I can't imagine, especially since we also. I mean, maybe it's a really aggressive deck.
Well, you know what we haven't seen much of in any of our coverage matches is green cards. Maybe we'll see 2 Gaia's Blessings.
True.
And I'm really curious to see how
Gaia's Blessing would be.
I'm sure Lewis has thought about it, so I'm curious to see what Lewis's response is to 2 Gaia's Blessings, if we in fact see it out of Kenneth. Going now to our final match of the Old Border Foil Cube. This is for all the marbles, and a Taiga on the top there for Kenneth.
Awesome. Okay, so we...
We're good.
Okay, so we have a mulligan, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Kenneth went to 6. We see Mountain, Taiga, Gaia's Cradle.
Oh, Gaia's Cradle is quite good. And might be the blessing. Someone has to have a blessing. We haven't seen it yet.
Well, yeah, we haven't seen any of the blessings yet. Maybe out of the sideboard at the very least, once Kenneth knows what Lewis's plan is.
Yeah.
Looks like still a land-heavy hand, even on a mulligan here from Kenneth. Not sure where those last couple non-lands are. Leading off with a Taiga, and we don't have to worry about Wasteland. Wasteland was in the last match, so that is pretty safe.
And we see Lewis with the 2 Brainstorms and the Fetch Land this time. Oh, wow. That brings me back.
Fire Slinger here is a pinger that's also going to deal damage to Kenneth, and whether Kenneth knows it or not, that's totally fine, because your life total is irrelevant in this matchup, Kenneth. That is merely ammunition for your Fire Slinger.
Well, unless I guess we could treachery some Big Daddy Fatty, but it sans that this is a pretty free fight. Although it also doesn't do that much. Like being able to ping.
Masticore, I see in Kenneth's hand here.
Oh wow, Masticore is quite a threat in this format. That is although it's also really good if we can treachery it. That's going to be really good against Kenneth's deck, I presume. So Masticore is a 4-mana 4/4, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice unless you discard a card. You can pay 2 to regenerate or to ping for 1. It used to rule the roost back in my day. When I was a
card is still really good in this cube.
Still quite good in this one, yep. So again, I mean, this is basically just a 1/1 for 2 here, which...
And I think here it comes right now, I would imagine.
Yep.
Into open blue mana, no fear, jam that 4-drop, make them have it.
That's right. If there's a Daze, we're gonna brainstorm here.
I think we're gonna try and find a Daze, is my guess.
Yep, seems good to me. And we also have the Fetch Land again to shuffle away and find our Volcanic Island.
We also do have Brainstorm. We could dig even deeper for Daze here if we wanted to, because we have a shuffle effect off our Wooded Foothills. We could shuffle away those non-Dazes, then cast Brainstorm with the Volcanic Island we get off of Wooded Foothills, seeing a total of 6 additional cards from our deck looking for Daze.
That seems very likely to exactly what's happening.
Someone can crunch the numbers here and figure out how likely you are to find a single one-of card if you get 6 additional looks in a deck like that. But it's not nothing. It's very worth digging for this answer here.
Well, and also this is
Brain Freeze. Start. Okay, no Daze.
Oh, is that a storm that makes goblin creatures?
I don't think that's an Empty the Warrens. I think it's a Siege Gang Commander, I think.
Oh, it's Siege Gang Commander. Interesting.
Do we have Empty the Warrens in this cube? I am checking right now.
I don't know.
I do not see it. So,
so that is...
Empty the Warrens not an option here.
Okay, I misread it. But this is Lewis did not find... It's also interesting because each one of this Brainstorm being used here means it cannot be used in the ultimate turn.
That is true. We've seen no way for Lewis to get cards back from his graveyard, and in mono blue, there's not really many ways to do that anyway in this environment. So that Masticore does resolve.
So we've got 2 red up. We have 2 red spells in hand. Is that can't quite see. Is that Siege Gang Commander?
That's Siege Gang Commander, and I think Starstorm, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Starstorm. That's fantastic.
Starstorm, a board wipe if you have enough mana, but you're going to have to get quite a bit of mana before you could possibly kill a Masticore, and all Kenneth needs to do is keep a couple mana up to regenerate it. and that's not going to work. So
Yeah, Starstorm, great. I love the versatility of this card. This was one of my staples for most of my cubes. It's, I think, quietly fantastic. It does so much and asks so little. You can cycle it, you can sweat, you can Wrath of God your opponent with it. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we are in the tank. Lewis does have the Brainstorm, which
Brain freeze.
excuse me.
Sorry. A lot of Magic cards, Jay, bro. A lot of Magic cards this weekend.
Can you tell how little sleep I'm on? How much sleep did you get last night?
I probably got like 5 solid hours.
Okay, so we're on the
Not
same.
that bad, you know.
Not that bad. That's about what I got.
My secret though, Jay, bro, is I am very sensitive to caffeine, so I have no coffee, nothing the rest of the year.
You play caffeine both ways.
Nothing the rest of the year. When I'm here though, give me a big old 24-ounce chai latte, and I am revved up and ready to go.
I like it. I like it. You make the caffeine count.
Yes, exactly. Now, Kenneth is drawing for turn. First has to discard a card to that Mastercore. There is an upkeep cost every turn discarding a card, but well worth it in this situation. Lewis, the body language is showing it, under pressure for perhaps the first time we've seen today in this draft. Had things pretty well wrapped up against Caleb there. Had we needed it every moment, but now just taking 5.
Doon, 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 doon.
We see the Cradle coming down as well. This is 6 mana.
Oh, and look what's
5
in his
mana,
hand.
sorry. 6 mana available.
Did you see
Sapperling Burst. Is Pandemonium in there too?
Did you see what's in his hand?
I did not.
Oh my! It was. I believe that was a Gaia's Blessing in Kenneth's hand.
Main deck, Gaia's Blessing, is a blowout, if that's in fact what it is.
If that's what's happening here, if he has it in his deck, Lewis cannot win this. Not about. It doesn't
Well,
matter. This game.
We don't know. I don't know what Lewis's backup plan is, or if Lewis has an answer to Gaia's Blessing. They do exist. There is Grave Hate in this environment, which gives you a second bite of the apple if you can get there. There's
How
also
much Grave Hate is there in blue or colorless though?
colorless. There's a fair bit. We have
Felden's Cane?
actually, you know what? I'm thinking of maybe not in the foil card pool. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Trying to remember what there is for it. Well, either way, this outburst is going to be amazing. So outburst.
No, you're right. I'm thinking of stuff like, you know, Phyrexian Furnace, but that's not available in foil. So maybe there's actually not as much colorless Grave Hate here as I expected. Burst going to make a bunch of big Sapperlings and also a bunch of mana from that Gaia's Cradle if there's a Fireball or something similar for Kenneth.
So Sapling Burst is one of the amazing cards from back in the day. It was a huge finisher, but also a great combo with Pandemonium because you can stack it such that you kill your opponent in one hit with it if they're at like 21 life or whatever. But now we see it just being used for its normal stuff, just making some Big Daddy Fatties and putting Lewis on a very aggressive clock. So
This is currently exactly lethal on board because
Correct.
that
12
fading
plus
counter
1.
is going to come off at upkeep. So those Sapperlings, which are currently 5/5s, are going to be able to attack as 4/4s plus 4/+1. That's 13 if I got my arithmetic right.
Kenneth is no slouch, and if those are Gaia's Blessings in the deck, Lewis will not win this.
Well, just imagine, Jay Bro, if Kenneth can win this game without showing the Gaia's Blessing.
oh my.
Then it's not even going to affect Lewis's sideboard. Lewis won't know. Lewis going for it right now. Lewis
Gotta
says,
go
look,
for it.
you got lethal. I got no answers for it. I might as well see what I can do here. And we'll see if Lewis can pull a rabbit out of the hat and somehow turn this game around.
Okay, so
I mean,
Storm at 1. Oh, go ahead.
Maybe.
Oh.
It's not out of the question that we could get to enough mana to actually Starstorm away this board.
That's
High Tide.
true, and he does not have 2
And we
blue
see
mana.
Lewis making 2 red immediately, which is the red you need for Starstorm.
That is a good call. You called
Yeah,
it.
the Frantic Search is going to do it. We are going to have enough
That's
mana to Starstorm away this board.
incredible.
There's no regeneration mana available. No, here's the thing. Look, Kenneth can actually make another Sapperling at instant speed. Oh, no, the Cradle's already tapped. Yeah, you're right. We're not going to have regeneration mana up for Masticore.
This is huge. This is incredible.
So, but here's the thing. Once Lewis has used all of these resources just to wipe the board, is there going to be enough gas left in the tank to actually storm off on a later turn?
Well, it's interesting, and uses the snap too.
Snap just
So
Snap
it's
just a ramp
possible
spell right
Lewis
here.
is going for it.
There's a Brain Freeze in hand. I mean, I think
If
maybe
he's-
you're just going, and a Mystical Tutor. You've got everything you need access to.
Do we have something to draw cards? I guess you could cycle the Brainstorm. That might be what he's considering now. He could just win here. Storm is at 3. We're tapping for 4 more.
It's going to feel real bad if you're Kenneth and you see the Starstorm that could easily wipe your board get cycled in this situation. You're like,
Although
well,
the cycling does not add to the storm count, though, importantly.
that's true. So it looks like we are just seeing the Starstorm cast here for 4.
Okay.
Kenneth's board getting wiped. Now, we do have a little bit left in the tank with this Sapperling Burst. We can make 2 Sapperlings on end step. They untap and be 2/2s. We can make 1, have it untap and be a 3/3. Not nothing. And we're
yeah.
going to do the slow mill plan here. We're going to brain freeze you for storm equals 5, take a top 15 cards of your library, and see if we can get you slow. Will we flip over
Interesting.
a copy of Gaia's Blessing here?
That would be
And how
incredible.
will Lewis feel about
Oh,
that?
there's a Fires of Yavimaya. Oh, one of my favorite cards. That is
Fires plus
incredible.
Sapperling Burst is
Yep.
quite potent.
Oh, wow. This deck's awesome.
I'm glad that we in coverage get a little view of this deck here. It looks like a pretty fierce red-green beatdown deck on Kenneth's side of the table. Now,
Okay, so now we're casting something. Can't see what that is.
we've got a token of some...
Well, it can't be goblins because it doesn't have...
That
wait.
must be Empty the Warrens. Just Empty Warrens. I couldn't find Empty the Warrens in this list.
You tricked me.
I mean, I looked through. No, it is right here. I did.
Oh, it is in
I did not recognize the.
I thought that's what it was.
I did not recognize
Your
the,
confidence
the
stumped
new
me.
art. The new art, which is different art than the original one. So
True.
yeah, actually, in a very commanding position now with 12 goblins. That is going to change things dramatically.
That's it. I that's what I thought it was, and that makes a lot of sense why he's in green, why he's in red. Okay, now we are, and that's also interesting because now we do have a way to win around Gaia's Blessing. And there's a Blastoderm, one of the staples from back in the day, a common for 5/5 with fading 3, not
And Shroud.
vanishing. Fading and Shroud. This used to rule the roost back in the day. This was such a powerhouse. So such a cool card. That's the thing that's great about CubeCon is for us boomer magicians, and you're younger, but you're of the same. You know you get the
You
reference
can call
points.
me a boomer. I was playing back in like Urza's Legacy block when I was a kid.
Okay,
I was
so
like 8, but
Yeah.
I was playing.
Yeah, I was like 15, but whatever, who's counting? But yeah, so you get the references. So like for us who know about it from back then, this is such a pleasure to watch because there is so much fun interactions and interesting cards. It just takes you back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Looks like we got a judge call here from Lewis. I can't tell. Mystical Tutor still in hand. Trying to sort out something about this graveyard. Kenneth is hellbent.
Does graveyard the order of graveyard does not matter here though, right? What could he possibly have where graveyard order would matter? Oh, frantic search. Oh wow. Oh, that's a big one.
Wait, what? We didn't discard the Frantic Search? Is that what happened?
Or did not discard enough to frantic search. That would be a blowout.
Interesting. Well, we'll see how our great judging staff will resolve this while they're figuring that out.
Yeah, and it
Kenneth-
looks like Lewis called the judge on himself. So good guy, Lewis Kaplan, playing correctly, being a good guy. But this might have just been a mistake from a tired Lewis. That would be huge. So also another interesting thing is, like you pointed out correctly, Gaia's Cradle plus Sapling can give you a burst of energy you might need. You might need that extra mana for something big. Although it looks like it's a little bit lower to the ground sort of deck, hey?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to put Fireball in this deck because I just want more threats to get under my opponent. But
Now these are the colors for land destruction, right?
there
Do we
is a
have-
bit of land destruction floating
Do
around
we
in
have
this
some
cube.
Panzas, Abanzia?
I believe we got a Pillage floating around in this cube. Let me confirm.
And what about do we also have Stone Rain?
No Stone Rain, and
Okay.
actually it looks like no Pillage. This list has changed a little bit since I played it last year, so I'm still
Okay.
getting up to speed on the latest version. Yeah, so once our judges figure out how to resolve this this situation, and our judging staff is fantastic, they will figure out the right solution here.
So we've
What
also,
does Kenneth need to draw? I mean, at this point, Kenneth's plan is laid bare. No cards in hand. This Sapperling token is basically nothing anymore. I mean, it's a 3/3 now. It's going to be a 2/2 next turn. It's gone. We've got a 5/5 for a few turns, but not forever.
I don't know if Kenneth can come back from this sort of advantage. This is going to be tough. I guess you would. There needs to be just something that makes like multiple threats because even if you have blockers, well, I guess this is the way you come back. You draw a couple big creatures because swinging in and incrementally losing your 1/1s, he might be at enough life to just hold it off. And if that's the case, then both of the win conditions besides treachery have been blown.
Yeah, if I'm in Lewis's seat, do you even attack here and let some of these things get eaten? Or you just say, I've got card draw on my deck, you're hellbent.
I think
These creatures are going to go away naturally on their own. I'm going to wait until I can just swing in free.
I think with no card with Hellbent, I think you wait. That's
So,
which he is.
I don't know what's in Kenneth's deck. I think one card in this cube that he would love to draw, he just drew Anger. Not a great draw here. That's a 4-mana 2/2. One card that's in this cube that Kenneth would love to have in his deck and draw right now is Grizzly Fate.
Oh, that would be good.
Grizzly Fate would make a total of 8 bears
Grizzly Fate.
across 2 castings, which is going to really tangle with all those goblins.
That would be great. Plus, also with the Gaze Cradle, if there's any
Yep.
Fireball or X-Spells in general, can our staff, I don't know if we have the opportunity to do this, but can production get us a answer for what happened with the Judge Claw? I wasn't quite clear on exactly what happened. I'd like to see what that was. But yeah, I mean, it looks like Kenneth is gonna hold the fort for a while, but if we don't have something good here, then Lewis is gonna start being able to attack. Okay, so
Okay, so Lewis
Oh,
also was forced to
wow.
discard his last 2 cards, Island Mystical Tutor,
Wow.
also Hellbent.
Losing the Mystical Tutor is huge.
Yeah, the draw from Kenneth was Anger. Not great in this board state.
Actually, Anger's
Just a
pretty-
4-mana 2/2 right
4
now.
mana 2/2 is exactly what we want, though, right? Because at 19 life, swinging in with... Oh, wow. Kenneth is going on the offensive? Okay.
I mean, to be fair,
that's a way to kill a token.
to be fair, that Blastoderm is only going to prevent 1 damage anyway. You can only block a
Right.
single thing, so
I
either
would've-
way, you know, I think it's fine to attack here. You're not really saving much life total by keeping it back.
Yeah, and actually, Anger being at... Because we have to be on life totals, so it's minus... Well, I guess it depends if he waits till it fades away, but this could be exactly what he needs to buy enough time to draw more threats to block more tokens, because if this goes long, Kenneth is now the control deck. Lewis is the beatdown. Lewis needs to be able to attack.
Lewis counting cards in libraries.
So I guess this could
Lewis
go-
saying, "Can I somehow chump block for, I don't know, 20 turns and somehow pull this game out that way?"
What's also interesting is if Lewis double blocks the Anger and puts it in this graveyard, that does present a significant credible threat moving forward.
I actually don't know. I mean, we saw the Anger. Anger has haste, and it did not attack last turn. So it could have come down pre-combat and attacked, and Kenneth chose not to do that.
Oh, wow. This is a lot of mana.
That's
Okay,
5 mana, 6 mana, 7 mana, 8. Do we have
7,
Fireball in the
8.
deck?
It could be 9.
Also, 1 more mana.
Hachi Machi.
I think it's more than 9. Just a
Oh,
Vertaloth the
wow.
Ancient kicked.
Oh no!
Oh,
Last
the
card in hand!
days! The days! You
Wow.
drew days off the top.
Oh my! Last card in hand.
Kenneth
off the top
absolutely
rope.
kicking himself right now for not playing around that
Hachi-machi.
days. Didn't know about it, of course. This is game 1.
That is
So
bonkers.
Kenneth couldn't have known about the days.
That is bonkers.
'Cause that was, let's see, 1, 2, 3,
Wow.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was 10 mana. That was a Vertaloth kicked for 4. Could have been kicked for 3. Still a very imposing threat.
Can you tell us what Vertaloth does?
Vertaloth is a large sapperling making creature with
It is a 4/7 and it is pretty dope. Can we bring it up on the screen, please?
yeah, so it's
Vertaloth the
a
Ancient.
4/7 that pumps all of your sapperling tokens and has kicker X, and the X will make X sapperling tokens. So basically, Kenneth was going to make 4 2/2s there, in addition to getting a 4/7, which would have been, I mean, probably game, right? Like, I can't imagine what else Lewis has in this deck that can possibly answer that.
Let me ask you this. This is cubed. You know, it's about cube, 3 times 3, da-da-da. But would you say that the Vertaloth is to the nth degree?
Or X degree, perhaps.
No, get the like the creature in Lord of the Rings, the tree creatures?
Oh, the Ent. I see
The
what you're
nth
saying.
degree?
I didn't get there. You know what? You're galaxy braining me here. You're playing on a level that I'm not prepared for.
To the nth degree?
2 lands off the top for Lewis. 2 lands
That
off the top
is-
is not what Lewis wants to see.
That might have been the days of even if he loses this, that day still is a winner.
But so Jay Bro, what else? I mean, the days against Caleb might have won the match in the last round, for all
Yeah.
we know. What else could Lewis even have in his deck at this point? We've seen.
Well, I mean, Lewis can still win this, right? I mean, he's winning. He can win the fight. Like, he can definitely win the fight. So, okay, we're swinging in for...
what do we have? That's keeping 1 untapped.
Okay,
Looks like
swinging
to
for
chump block
7.
that Blastoderm
So
on
ca-
its.
well, the
Blastoderm's
Blastoderm's
going to
dying,
go
but
away.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we don't swing all out here.
Maybe just afraid of a haste creature of
I
some
suppose
sort.
so.
I mean,
But-
there are a lot of haste creatures in this cube. You could draw Blistering Firecat, Ball Lightning, something like that off the top.
But those have trample. So
That is true. Those do have trample. Those are not good examples.
Although, I guess blocking the anger there might make the difference. You might want the extra life in that case.
Kenneth drew a land. Don't know what the last card in hand is for Kenneth.
I mean, Lewis is now in the driver's seat.
If Kenneth needs to draw something, but I imagine
here-
Kenneth has way more live draws.
I do not like this attack. I think you attack with all the goblins here.
You don't like keeping the 1 back.
I
just
don't like
just
keeping the 1 back.
mathematically speaking. You're getting
don't
6
like-
through no matter what.
Yeah, 6 goes to 6, but if we draw another creature here, if we draw a blocker here, this could be the
Oh,
difference.
just lands.
Oh,
Just lands in hand for
no.
Kenneth.
Oh, Gavalt, this is tough.
I believe that's 2 forests.
Well, Lewis pulled it out.
I mean,
wow,
Kenneth
what
had
a
so
game.
many live draws in this deck. I got to imagine his deck is just chock full of creatures. So
Just
many cards
flooding
you could
out.
draw. Lewis, on the other hand, drew exactly days.
Wow. That is, I mean, that's the reason for the season, right? This
And now
is
this
what
is
Cube's all
lethal
about.
if Kenneth doesn't have anything. Kenneth indeed scooping it up. That was one more force in hand.
Wow.
Very little ability to control your draw step if you are playing red-green in a cube like this.
That's incredible. What a game.
Every single piece of cardboard mattered in that game. Every single piece of cardboard mattered. And boy, I mean, Kenneth has got to be kicking himself about that daze. Couldn't have known about it. You know, you'd have to really be foreseeing the future to play around that daze. But
That was incredible.
yeah,
And not only that, it was exactly the top deck that Kenneth needed to exactly the top deck that
Right.
Lewis needed.
and if that Verdoloth had been
'Cause they were
anything
both
else,
hellbent.
if Verdoloth had been any other big
Yes.
threat that doesn't tempt you to literally spend every last one of your mana, the days wouldn't have worked. If that had just been a Kamal Pit Fighter, if that had been a Sylvos Rogue Elemental, anything else
Yep.
that doesn't have kick or X, and we almost certainly see Kenneth taking that game down, but
Don't
that's not how it worked out.
Don't daze me, bro. So
One more sponsor here
one more
to
sponsor.
thank
Thank you very
during this
much.
draft, and that is Card Conduit.
Yes.
Jay, bro, you mentioned you have like 10 or 11 cubes. I got to imagine you also have quite a few boxes of
Oh, yeah.
unsorted bulk
What am I gonna
in
do?
Casa J, bro.
What can I possibly do with all this stuff?
Well, you can turn all that unsorted cards into money, into cash.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And then turn that cash into more cubes,
how do
which
I
I
do
know is
that?
what you want to do.
Yes.
And that's by sending them into Card Conduit.
Cube to cash to cube. This is the line.
Card Conduit will take your box of completely unsorted cards. Don't you do
Okay.
any work. Just, slap a shipping label on it, send it to Card Conduit. They'll
Okay.
sort through it. They will shop around for the best prices on all your cards from their major network of retailers.
That's the part I hate doing the most. They'll do it for me?
They'll do it all for you
Golly.
for a very small fee, which you're willing to pay that fee. You don't want to do it yourself. You're busy out
time
there.
is money. If you're not, if it's worth an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of my time, I have 100 kids. I have CubeCons to put on. I have all sorts of important stuff going on at work. If I can ship that to someone else, that is saving me. Whatever the deal is, it's a good deal.
Time is money, and you know what? These professional card sorters are going to be way faster at sorting those cards than you are. So it might take you a few hours.
I don't
It's
care
gonna-
how fast I do it, how slow I do it, as long as it gets done, and I don't have to do it. I want these guys doing it.
Absolutely. So if you want your bulk sorted into cards, you can turn it into cash.
I want
which
that.
you can then turn into more cards or whatever you need.
Yes.
Go to cardconduit.com to get started. Big thank you to Card Conduit
Yes.
for helping make this event happen. We
Thank
couldn't do
you.
this event without our sponsors, so huge thank you to Card Conduit for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Card Conduit was they were thinking about actually shipping someone here, I think, for the event. We talked about that, but they were a great sponsor, great partner, and who knows, they might be at the next CubeCon, but they have been incredibly helpful to us. They also have a great product, and I will tell you, you never know. I just found out today how much Ristic Study's worth, and I've got to go look over. I did not know that because I have no time for anything. So
Because of Commander, there's all sorts of old cards
Yeah.
that are totally unsuspecting that you would
Exactly.
have no idea are actually worth $5, $10,
Yeah.
$15.
And
it
some-
really adds up.
And sometimes you have just like tons of them all together because you just
Yep.
put them all away and forget about it. You know, there's Snuff Out apparently is worth a lot of money because of Pauper. So I've just found that out. So anyway, it's just worth it. Check it out. And thank you again to Card Conduit, our wonderful sponsor. CubeCon appreciates you. Bless up.
We are
Back to
going
it.
down to our game after sideboarding. I'm just picturing Kenneth very slyly sideboarding any guy's blessings that
Does-
weren't in the main deck. If they're in his pool, we don't actually know that for sure. We know that he didn't have one in hand. That was something else in that
Yes.
game because we saw the whole hand eventually. There were no guy's blessings. Turn 1 Birds of Paradise. Pretty good start, Jay.
Yeah, that's a good start. We also have Mastercore again and Black. Oh my! Well, that's good against the birds. But we also it's bad against Mastercore though, statistically speaking.
Not great against Mastercore, and also unclear how quickly Lewis is going to be able to actually get 2 cards in the graveyard here
True.
to fuel that Grim Lavamancer.
Probably
not
not
going to
as-
want to spend that Brainstorm anytime soon. You want to save that for as late as you can.
That's right, and probably not as quick as the Incinerate for the birds. You bolt the birds here, right? Or you keep it for something.
You know,
for-
I know you're always supposed to bolt the birds. Are you supposed to incinerate the birds though? Is the
Ooh.
question. When you're
Yeah,
when you're
they-
not trading even on mana, when you're paying 1 more mana, I wonder if you're supposed to actually wait and worry about the things that are pressuring your life total.
Well, they can't regenerate.
That's
so,
true. They can't regenerate it.
Yeah, I say
Though,
go for it.
Though we're going to almost certainly see. I mean, yeah, Incinerate is not going to line up well against Mastercore, which
There we
is
go.
in Kenneth's hand.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Kenneth delaying that Mastercore by a turn.
But does tap for mana.
Sorry,
I
Lewis
like it.
delaying that Mastercore by a turn. Delaying Kenneth's Mastercore by a turn.
I think that is a wise line. Yeah, he's seeing if he can regenerate it. Nope, you cannot regenerate it. That's always the question.
There's also a Volcanic Hammer in hand and a Sapperling Burst and an Anger, it looks like, on Kenneth's side
Wow.
of the battlefield. So looks like bolting this bird. Huge.
Yes, that
Because
is-
our next spell start at 4. If we don't top deck a land here, are we just on point a volcanic hammer at your face? What do we do?
I mean, if we are, was that a? Oh wow. Okay. So if we are stalled here, Lewis is in great shape. If Kenneth is stalled here, I don't know what we could possibly.
That is a land off the top for Kenneth. So never didn't have it.
Never didn't have it. Okay. Well, things are looking pretty good for Kenneth now. The Blastoise is top choice.
Choosing to start on Blastoderm here instead of Masticore, if possible. If you have stuff to do on curve,
Yes.
you would love to play Masticore when you're on 6 so you can hold up regeneration, though not a lot of burn spells are going to deal 4, to be frank.
But we saw one yesterday.
We saw the Starstorm in this first game.
In the first game.
Got up to enough to actually deal with that Masticore.
Well, it's also important because you don't have to discard the additional card. That might well be relevant here to keep the Masticore alive. Being able to get your other threat out. Oh, we missed it. Okay, there we go. And we are keeping a...
No land there. Not sure what that was. Looked like maybe a goblin of some renown.
Yeah, we're keeping up the options for Lewis. Is this a Factor Fiction or what are we seeing here? Because we did not
There's
play
definitely a Factor Fiction in Lewis's hand. Factor Fiction and
Okay.
Brainstorm,
So
along with another card there.
Is that the draw of 4 cards, the Deep Analysis? I think that's a Deep Analysis.
Could be.
Okay, so... Oh, wow. Oh, my.
Is that Goblin Goon we're seeing right now?
That is a goon, baby. Oh, wow.
Now, some of you kids at home might not know Goblin Goon. That's a 4 mana 6/6.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Whose Goblin Goon is that? That is not a loyal Goblin Goon. That is a treacherous Goblin Goon. This is going to be huge. Hachi-machi. We also see a Gitu Fire Slinger. Pretty dope. Was that featured back in your days?
Yeah.
You familiar with the 2/2?
Fire Slinger's good. Yeah, it does work.
Too?
So, tough Factor Fiction here. You got to imagine that the Treachery is what's going to get taken almost no matter what. Do you just go Treachery and 4 here? Is that your
I
pile?
can't imagine a 4 for 1. I think you go Treachery Land, but this is tough.
Well, you might. Well, I guess we have Fire Diamond. Never mind. I was going to say you might not know if Lewis has access to 5 mana, but the Fire Diamond is in play, so the 5 mana is guaranteed.
I think this will not be. I can't imagine a 4 for 1 here. I think this will be Treachery Land, but it's going to be tough no matter what. This is
Frantic Search, also a very key card in this Storm deck. Is that also High Tide in there?
I can't.
Or I think it's a
cannot
Fidian.
see.
I got a little tiny corner of the yard. I think it might be a Fidian.
Okay. This is pretty rough. I'll share a quick story while we're looking this over. So I was talking to Bob Maher yesterday about how he designed Dark Confidant, and he told me about Finkel's design, which was a very powerful 1/3, a Fidian-like creature. It has fear.
Shadow Mage Infiltrator.
Shadow Mage Infiltrator. Okay, so we're going for Treachery in 1, but it's not the land.
Treachery.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, I like the. Not the.
Treachery and Frantic Search?
can't
That
be
would
Frantic
be
Search.
wild to
I think
give
it's-
Lewis Treachery and Frantic Search in the same pile.
But the
Forbid. Forbid is the other card we see here.
Forbid. Okay. So I think it's got to be Treachery Island. I mean, that's what I would do. I don't know. I mean, this is tough no matter what.
This
Like,
is a really tough spot for sure.
but he was saying that unfortunately, he pointed out Shadow Mage Infiltrator came out when another powerful 1 black-blue creature came out that completely overshadowed Finkel's card.
Which one was that?
I'll give you a hint. You can discard to pump it. You can remove from graveyard to dump it.
Dr. Teeth.
Dr.
Teeth himself.
Yes.
Psychotog.
Psychotog. Oh, wow. We're going with the Frantic Search.
Wow.
And
Frantic Search and Treachery got to be the pick here. Can't imagine
is
that.
a huge gift right here.
Yeah, not sure what the logic is there. I mean,
If anything,
we don't know what else is in Kenneth's hand, so
Right.
but giving one of the key combo cards that will help Lewis go off,
I mean,
and also this Treachery, which is going to immediately stabilize here.
yeah, this is that was a really powerful Factor Fiction. That was a no matter what, Kenneth is in rough shape, but
And that Grim Lavamancer, if we do see a Treachery on this Goblin Goon, its biggest job is just being one more
Yes.
creature count, so the Goblin
can
Goon
still
can
block.
actually block.
or possibly attack sometimes.
Or
Who
maybe
knows?
not block. If Kenneth untaps and plays 2 creatures, then the Goblin Goon that gets Treachery, if that is what happens,
Yes.
would not actually be that powerful.
And, well, it does still serve as a kill spell for a 6/6, which is definitely relevant in the situation.
Still removing the 6/6, yes, which is pretty key.
Yeah, that
and
is
we are in
not
fact going to
nothing.
see that.
That is not nothing.
Just
Okay.
came down last turn too, so it is untapped, which is nice. Get a block on his next turn
And
cycle.
let's pull up Goblin Goon again, just to make sure folks who are not as familiar with it might know. Goblin Goon is one of these many cowardice goblins. They're
Mhm.
big and angry and powerful, but they need friends. They get afraid to go into battle alone. So Goblin Goon can't
Okay,
attack
wow.
unless unless you control more creatures than defending player. Can't block unless you control more creatures than attacking player.
Sorry to stop you here, Jay, bro, but I
Yes.
think that Goblin Goo might not matter much at all. We have High Tide, Snap, Frantic Search in
Oh
hand off that deep
my.
analysis.
Oh my.
We could see Lewis attempt to go off maybe next turn, although, importantly, if you're not under any pressure, there's no reason to go off next turn necessarily.
True.
You
true.
can pretty safely rely on the fact
You
that
can
this
just
red-green
make
deck has no way to interact with you except for maybe Guy's Blessing.
Yes. Which
Which
another
doesn't
reason to
actually
wait.
matter when you go off if there's Guy's Blessing, right? It's going to get you if it's going to get you.
Well,
So
it might be another reason to wait because then you might want to go for your Goblin strategy instead of your Mill strategy.
that's true. That is true. If you can do both, that would be the best. The best.
Yes.
What we saw last game was a sort of like half-hearted attempt at both. But the best thing would be try and mill you out if I can't.
Okay.
Now this is going to make it so the Goblin Dude
Okay.
won't be able to block.
Not too shabby tappy, but it also means we can't get a Master Core on the table this turn.
That is true.
And Blastoise dies next turn.
Yes.
So this is actually.
Well, fading is actually when you can't remove a counter. So you'll get one more hit with that
Oh, I'm
Blastoderm.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
You're
it's
right.
the most
I'm
confusing thing on the
thinking
planet,
of-
Jay,
yeah,
bro.
you're
Vanishing and fading are so confusing.
Yes. This is bonkers.
All right, so this Volcanic Hammer pointing at this Grim Lava Mancer. Lewis is just going to take 2 off Kenneth's life total for his trouble. Might as well on the way out. Had an opportunity to decide to maybe snap this Blastoderm and save the life total right now, but that snap is so much more valuable on your high tide turn.
And Blastoderm, remember, has hexproof or has.
Oh, you're right.
Shroud.
I'm sorry. Correct. It has Shroud, so you do not have an option to snap that.
But he could have
that
snapped
Blastoderm.
I guess the 1/1.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. We're definitely the snap. The creature bounce feels almost incidental.
Yeah, because the Goblin Goon, your opponent's going to be playing more creatures, so it's not going to that balance ain't going to matter.
Well, I just mean what really matters about that card is untapping 2 lands on your high tide turn. The fact that it bounces a creature, fine, whatever, cool.
Right.
What you really care about is just making that a big ritual.
For sure. And thanks, Jadapro, for your sub. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. This is CubeCon, the best 4 days in cubing, one of the best Magic experiences of all time.
Oh, I mean, the best as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you. And we are now
Are we
looking
going to see a Brainstorm or High Tide and go off here?
It looks like we're looking to go
That's
off.
a High Tide. We're going off.
You can tell by the body language. Whenever.
But I think he's going off with a little bit of trepidation. This is definitely not a given.
Well, it's interesting to go off here because we do have time to wait. Whenever Lewis's whiskers start to furl, that's how you know he's getting ready to go off.
Well,
that's his tell.
I would like to say we have time to wait, but we saw Anger last game. We saw the Fires through Yavimaya. We saw a number of haste enablers in the last game from this deck. So at 9 with a 5/5 staring you down, I'm not sure that you can necessarily guarantee you're going to untap next turn.
Well, I would be more concerned, I suppose, with a combination of maybe hasters and burn or burn.
Oh, Mystical Tutor and Prophetic Bolt off the top. An incredible Frantic Search from Lewis Kaplan here.
This
will likely make this work.
That's game. Yep.
I think we'll have enough Storm Count with the combination of Frantic Search, all this mana, go use Mystical Tutor, go get Brain Freeze.
So he's counting the cards in the library. He was trying to count by negative, by how many cards have we done, but he's going for the whole thing because he might have sideboarded in 41 cards, 45 cards.
That is technically allowed by the rules of Magic the Gathering.
That's right. So, or you could go up to 100 cards with basic lands. That could have happened. Who knows? But we are.
Oh, they forgot to count the Goblin Goon, which was under control. They just missed it because it was across the other side of the battlefield. But yes, just got a library count there on Kenneth. Right. So Lewis doing the math right now. But I think with this Brainstorm, Mystical Tutor, Frantic Search, I think we're going to get there.
Yeah, I can't imagine how we can.
Maybe Lewis trying to figure out if he can do both the Brain Freeze and the Empty the Warrens to have a backup plan in case something goes awry.
I love it. And I also, again, don't... Oh, wait, Lewis is at 6, not at 9. Is that correct? Oh, we lost life from...
Maybe we flash back the deep analysis.
That would
at some point, that would be 3 life.
Yes, that is a very good call.
Oh, I guess we haven't even cast the Frantic Search yet. I'm sorry. That was just the flashback deep analysis that drew us those 2 cards. I thought he was trying to figure out what to discard. Frantic Search still in hand.
Oh, it's a Brainstorm. Okay.
That was a Brainstorm. So so far this turn has been High Tide into flashback deep analysis into Brainstorm.
Wow.
Daze in hand now as well, which will just be a free Storm count because we'll have so much extra mana going around. We can just pay for that Daze, let our Storm resolve anyway.
This is just the cat's meow.
Feel like Lewis is going to get there unless, J-Bro, we see a Guy's Blessing, which could throw a wrench into all of this.
That would be amazing. If we see Guy's Blessing, I might just lose my marbles. That would be amazing. Although, at 5, you got to go for the mill, right? You're worried about the burn. You're not going to go for the goblins here.
I don't think you could afford to go for the goblins. We also have a pretty full hand on Kenneth's side. I think 4 cards in Kenneth's hand still. So
yeah,
even if you make 40 goblins this turn, you could maybe just die to burn spells if you let Kenneth untap.
So again, I'll say my pack one, pick one, prophetic bolt. It looks like it's going to be in the deck that wins the game.
Well, will it even be cast though? Is the question.
It doesn't need.
It's
It
the
does
least
work.
important card in Lewis's hand right now, I would say.
But it does work, and also having that goblin on the board is huge.
You
Being
need
able
something to target with Snap. You
You
can't cast that into an empty board, so
Yep.
pretty essential to actually just get those lands untapped to actually have a target.
Wow, this is a thing of beauty. Good job, Lewis. This is fantastic, and this is right up his alley too. I know Lewis very well personally. Papa Bear. This is exactly what he wants to be doing while playing Magic. Okay, so we're mystical tutoring up the brain freeze,
I imagine this is going to be the Brain Freeze. Storm count 5.
or he looks at the goblins. He's looking
He's
at
looking
goblins.
at empty the Warrens.
He's looking at the goblins.
There is also a Gush in the deck. I can't imagine rolling the dice that we might not find the thing we need, but Gush will draw you a lot of cards for sure.
I think.
That's a Future Sight in hand, I believe, as well, which...
Yep.
Uh,
Pretty good, but not great here. 'Cause-
already played land for turn, I believe, so
Right.
that's not likely to draw a ton of cards.
Yeah, this is
So Storm counts 5. Let's work it out.
okay.
Storm counts 5. We put Brain Freeze on top. We cast Frantic Search. We get a couple of unknown cards. Do you daze the Frantic Search and pay for it? Just
yeah.
so you get that Storm count up? So that would
Absolutely.
be Storm count 6, Storm count 7, Storm count 8 for the Brain Freeze. 8 times 3,
24.
24. That's not the full library for Kenneth.
How much is the full library?
I don't know the exact number, but I'm sure that it's bigger than 24 based on, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think 11. I think we're looking at a 28 card library, 29 card library for
Okay.
Kenneth probably.
So we got to
So
go
trying
higher.
to get one more Storm out of this. Maybe Prophetic Bolt can find us something. Go
Well,
to Frantic Search first. I like this move. We want to see what we're working with first.
Yeah, the frantic search is going to do a lot of work here. I am confident. Okay, we can do that
Brain
for
Freeze
0,
and Star Storm.
which Starstorm can add to the count for 0. I think that might be
Well, you
better.
still got to spend red on it.
Oh, wow. Which we have with the volcanic. Wow, that is huge.
Discarding the Daze and the
I
Star
am
Storm.
Extremely
I'm surprised to see the Future Sight still in hand. Maybe, here it comes. Lewis saying, I need one more Storm count off the top of my deck.
Wow.
I'm rolling the dice here a little bit, I think. It's a land.
I mean, technically, he can brain freeze himself.
Can't imagine seeing that happen here. We do have access to red, so now I think we Prophetic Bolt. Hope we find something that is
What could we-
extremely cheap or free.
I don't
Like
know what we could find at this point, though.
Gush.
But that doesn't do anything for us.
Because
Because,
another Storm count. Draw more cards.
but we have 6 mana up, right?
Oh, that's just a Storm count. I'm sorry. I was getting that confused for mana and pool. Right, we have 6 mana.
Gotcha.
So we would have to find a mana positive spell we could only cast for 1 mana. I don't know if there's any
I
of those
don't-
left in Lewis's deck. I think you're right.
I don't know how many of those, are even in the cube.
We
like,
could see Lewis. We could see Lewis. We could see this deck maybe failing here. So
This
looks like
is-
maybe going for the Prophetic Bolt.
This
Don't
is
know. Now, Lewis knows
wild.
the deck better than we do. Not sure what Lewis could find here.
And
He's
if he
going to have
would've- and if-
exactly a blue mana, I imagine. Yeah, exactly a blue mana left in the mana pool after this is
is
cast.
Lotus is Lotus in here?
No power.
No, I mean the one Lotus Petal.
Oh, Petal never printed in foil, so there's no Petal in here. No, never printed in foil.
So he
oak
doesn't
order.
actually get to see the cards. Kenneth is asking if this
Yeah.
allows him to see him. Prophetic
This is
Bolt-
looking at it while they're still technically on top of your
Correct.
library, so you're not going to see all those cards.
So it's interesting because if Lewis would have gone for the goblins here, he probably wins.
Well, it would definitely be better than whiffing. Fire Ice.
That's game.
Fire Ice is not going to do it unless we're missing something. I don't see how Lewis can't even afford to cast the Brain Freeze now.
And not only that, now he's at 5 life, and Blastoise is exactly 5 damage with 1 counter left, no blockers. This is it. This is it.
Didn't
Wow.
quite get there. Needed that Future Sight or Prophetic Bolt to be anything else. Anything else.
Wow.
Any cheaper spell. Any card draw. And I think we would have for sure gotten there.
Going to
That's
game
it.
3. Fantastic. Wow. Wow, wee wah. That was a wild ride. And
Yeah.
And again, if you would have been scared of the Gaze blessing, if you would have, or maybe he got it. He might have just taken it out of the pool just so that he didn't.
I don't
care.
know. I mean, we didn't
hated
see
it.
it there, but we also didn't see much of Kenneth's deck. So
True.
we still had 28 or 29 cards left in the library
And
there.
maybe 1 or 2 in the hand we couldn't read. But
Yeah, so they
yeah.
could still be lurking around. That could be the invisible thing that decides this at the end of the day.
that's incredible.
While our players are doing their last sideboarding, let's do one last ad. Let's talk about Card Castle.
Card Castle.
Card Castle is a way to organize and sort your collection. Make sure you have all the cards that you know are in your collection at your fingertips. So you're not, I mean, how many times have you bought a single that you actually had sitting in a box somewhere that you couldn't remember or couldn't find?
So many times. Not only that, all the paper cuts, the cardboard cuts rather, all the, sorting and, all the work that goes into it, and then keeping track of it, and then you got to write it down on your, you get the abacus out, and you got your pen and paper. I'm not down with all that. It takes too much of my time. What else could I do?
Card Castle makes software that allows you to organize your collection and access it on your phone, on the go, on your web browser, back on your desktop machine, and see it all at your fingertips.
Do they?
They also even allow you to organize a cube on Card Castle if you want to hear people that are doing that. We're heading right back to after this game, though. It's time to settle this.
All right, so
Thank you to Card Castle, though.
Yeah, fantastic sponsor. Check them out, and you can basically get your whole collection on your phone and not have to worry about it anymore. It's incredible, and it's also a really, really, really good company. So check them out, Card Castle. Use them. It looks like we're going down. Or not.
Kind of a rough opening hand here for Lewis. Island, Grim Lavamancer, Gush.
Do you keep this on the play? I think we go down.
I mean, the thing is...
Oh, never mind.
Looks like we are keeping... I mean, the thing about Lewis's deck is that he has so much card draw.
True.
So many ways to find more things to do that I think actual just pieces of cardboard is going to matter eventually.
True.
Because you're going to cast Frantic Search. You need to have those cards to discard. So I think really just needs to buy some time here.
Okay.
That's a Goblin Sparksmith. Just Sparksmith, I think is the name of the card. It is a Goblin, though.
Not the best here.
Well, not right now, but this is the kind of card that also can eventually scale up dramatically.
Well, except it does not do it to player. Right?
You are right.
It is only to creature.
You're right. Yeah, this card got to be one of the weakest options in Kenneth's pool.
It is a 2-mana 1/1.
Actually, a little surprised to maybe not see it sideboard. Maybe Kenneth does not have his deepest sideboard option as we expected.
That seems likely. Oh my! Fires of Yavimana into Blastoderm. This is going to be incredible. Go, Gadget Blastoderm.
Is Blastoderm in hand? Did you get a peek at it?
I did not see, but...
I see Vertaloth the Ancient. I see a couple forests. The next follow-up here could be Blastoderm.
What happens if we go Vertaloth? If we get, if we get a
Vertaloth
bunch...
is 6 mana. We got to get to 6 mana to cast that.
Was that a... Well, I mean, we want the full... We want the full Monty
Oh, yes.
Vertaloth.
If we manage to find a Gaia's Cradle, do something else ridiculous to... looks like we cycled a Starstorm on end step.
No red mana. Was that a... is that a... What? I can't see. Kenneth's hand is a little bit...
I think I might have spied an artifact there. Maybe Masticore. Though, not a 4-drop creature. Otherwise, surely would have seen it before combat because it has haste. Thran Dynamo is what I saw.
Remember what I said?
Here comes the very, very big Vertaloth.
Yes.
And again, as far as I can tell, the only interaction we have in Lewis Kaplan's deck is that Daze. I've seen no other stack interaction.
And no Daze off the top. Hachimachi.
This is a interesting Fact or Fiction.
Wow.
No huge bangers in this Fact or Fiction, though Kenneth, reading the table, can surmise that Lewis is perhaps stuck on red. So that mountain, more than just a basic land, in this Fact or Fiction pile. So while this Fact or Fiction is being sorted out by Kenneth, next turn, we have a land drop, I'm pretty sure.
True.
That's going to give us 7, 8 mana. Do you cast the Vertaloth for kick by 2?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't play around Daze.
Oh, wait. No, I play around Daze.
You play around Daze.
Yes.
So you cast a kick for 1, or do you wait till later on in the game?
No, go for 2. Go for 2. I'll tell you why. Because if you would have had Daze, he would have had it here. I would risk it for the brisket, the 1 in 27 chance or whatever it is. I go for Daze.
You think the Daze would have hit the Thran Dynamo?
Yeah, you Fact or Fiction Daze the Thran Dynamo, because Thran Dynamo makes Daze so useless in most case scenarios. So yeah, you definitely Daze it.
All right, our piles are Fire Ice, Brainstorm Island, or Deep Analysis
and
Mountain.
Actually, getting Deep Analysis in the graveyard makes it cheaper.
Deep Analysis, one of the great cards to pair with Fact or Fiction.
Why was Deep Analysis in the land pile? That was an interesting choice because it's actually better in the graveyard. It only costs 2 mana. Interesting. Well,
full grip here for Lewis Kaplan, though that 3 life might really matter.
Yeah, it might matter. That's true.
That could be a whole turn, as far as we know. And
that's true.
Lewis will be basically biding their time, waiting until the exact last moment to go off because they want as many resources in hand when they go for it as possible. Discarding to hand size here, I believe.
Wow.
That's 8 in hand.
Wow. And also,
you could just spend the fire on the Sparksmith and deal 1 to you if you don't want to discard to hand size, but no, just opting to keep that, save the ice for later.
Well, the Sparksmith,
let's just discard this mountain.
We do have the ability to save Sparksmith now, though. We have...
Oh, we're icing the Thran Dynamo on upkeep. No Vertaloth this turn, even if you want to.
Yeah, and once we go back to booth, we have a very special guest joining us. Once we get back into the coverage, we have a special secret guest joining us, and with that we'll do for the winners interview as well. A little trickster of sorts, you'll see. Okay, so Thran Dynamo being tapped.
We're tapping mana
But-
before combat. Here comes, is this Sapling Burst?
Sapling Burst.
Oh my
no!
goodness!
Had the days.
End the
Had
days.
Oh wow, that's huge.
I have never seen a daze do more work in a match of Magic.
And the discipline,
then
not dazing the Thran Dynamo.
Yeah, daze was not drawn for turn. I'm fairly
Wow.
certain. I believe we drew Island for turn. So no, Mountain for turn. We drew Mountain for turn. So we had the daze. We didn't daze the Thran Dynamo. We saved it
Unbelievable.
for the Sapling Burst, which Sapling Burst combined with Fires of Yavimaya is terrifying.
Lewis's discipline is off the charts.
I
He
truly have
is-
never seen anybody get more mileage out of a daze. We have never seen that card be dead in hand, do nothing. It has single-handedly turned around a lot of games here.
Lewis is ready for medical school with that amount of discipline.
And I think Kenneth is ready to go home and crumple up a bunch of dazes and throw them in the
Yes.
garbage can as a little bit of catharsis.
Don't daze Kenneth, bro.
All
But
right.
Kenneth still has.
Gulping our hand here for Lewis. We've got Gush in hand. We've got Snap, Brainstorm. We've got Brain Freeze. Just looking for that high tide, and I think we are going to be off to the races.
Okay, so if that Verdant is in hand, how much damage is
Vertiloff is in hand. If this, I mean, it's going to resolve. We know that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If it's kicked for full value, which you do now because the daze is gone, you're going to get a 4/7 plus 3 2/2s. That's 8, 9 damage with the Smarksmith coming in this turn.
So that's actually almost lethal because remember, Yavimaya has another ability.
That's right.
Fires of Yavimaya can sack to give target creature +2/+2. So we are almost at lethal on board. And remember, there is a Misty
That's
that
true.
probably is going to get cracked.
So
because we
11
need to-
possible damage if the play is Vertiloff here, but Kenneth may
it's-
be waiting for Vertiloff to be literally lethal.
It's more than 11, right? Let's see. Let's do the math one more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kick for 3. So you're making a 4/7 with 3 2/2s.
So it's 10, 11, 12, 13. With the crack is 14. So it's lethal, right? Am I drunk?
4.
I'm on no sleep. I might be wrong. 4.
Sapling creatures, other tree folk. It's 4 plus 4. It's 8 plus
No,
1.
making 3 saplings.
6. You're right. You're right. Math is so hard. Math is so difficult.
Your
You're right.
confidence is like throwing me off. But I'm like, yeah. Okay, so if we do that and the fetch is cracked, and that's the only red source too, and he might need it for the land. So this could be lethal right here. If this is the most heads-up play of the day, let's see if we can do it. Lewis is disciplined.
Will Kenneth go for it is the question. Or will you take a more conservative line, play a couple other creatures, still get in for other damage right now?
Well, is that what's the red card? Is that
I
a burn
don't know what the
spell?
red card is.
I can't see it.
Oh,
That's a goblin buck
looks like
buck.
another
That's
goblin.
the
Is that
goblin
Goblin Goon?
No, it's goblin. It's the one that I think it's that one. The discard and then cycle it and deal damage goblin. Okay, so we are at the precipice here. This is and if Lewis does get another turn to live, he has to absolutely positively go off this turn.
And I think that may be why Kenneth be making sure that this is going to be actually lethal. Don't give Lewis the knowledge that this is in fact their last turn.
I think we crack. I think we go for it to prevent the Kraken. Release the Kraken.
1, 2, 3. 4 mana.
Okay.
5 mana.
This looks like
6 mana.
we're getting some true
7
folk
mana.
to the nth degree.
8 mana. Kenneth really drawing it out here. We're going to see it just kicked for 2, not 3 here.
Oh no.
Saving a red mana.
Oh no.
So this will not be lethal. Opting to use the Brainstorm now. So Lewis must have another answer in their deck. Otherwise, you would save this Brainstorm for your high tide turn, for sure.
Oh no.
We do have Snap on Lewis's hand, so that's going to buy some life. That's going to save some life here.
Wow.
What is the other answer in Lewis's deck for a Vertiloth on the stack? We already cycled our Starstorm, which can get rid of some of those Saprolings. Whatever the answer was, we didn't find it. We do have Mystical Tutor now, so we have everything we need, and we are going to get another turn. So Lewis is going to have a chance to try and go off on this next turn. Opting to keep this Future Sight in hand, not shuffle it away to the Misty Rainforest.
Wow.
Reading Yavimaya, Fires of Yavimaya, make sure they understand how that exactly works. So to math it out, now we are looking at the number I thought we were looking at, which is 8 plus 9 a total potentially of 10 damage plus the 1 from the Misty Rainforest. Lewis back at 14. Maybe we had the life total wrong. Looks like Lewis was actually at 14, not 13.
Wow.
Brainstorm is resolved.
And apparently my Twitter account got hacked. Do not buy crypto from me. Someone hacked my account.
Oh, no. Well, I'm glad we're alive to say that. Don't buy any crypto from J-Bro now or ever.
And don't buy it
Getting in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage here.
Wow.
10 with the Misty Rainforest. There is a snap in hand if Lewis is worried about his life total. But if I'm Lewis, I'm not worried about my life total. You only got 1 red up. You're not going to be able to deal 4 damage off 1 red. Maybe you've got Bolt, which is actually a little bit concerning. It turns off the Misty Rainforest. But I think you need that snap next turn to untap more lands.
Bolt could be good. If that's a lightning bolt in hand, that could be good. That would be very good because that's the 1 additional damage.
And you got to be asking yourself, if you're Lewis Kaplan, why didn't Kenneth kick for that extra amount to make this lethal?
It's got to be
one
Bolt.
explanation will be Bolt. I'm pretty sure that neither of those cards are lightning bolt though. So
I couldn't see. I only saw the goblin. I couldn't see the other one.
The other one is not a red card, I believe. And I don't even know if this is going to elicit the sacrifice of that Fires of Yavimaya. If it's not going to be lethal either way, maybe you want to keep the haste for next turn.
Is Snapcaster Mage in this?
No.
What could there possibly be to read days here?
Nothing that I'm aware of in this format, and certainly nothing we've seen out of Lewis's deck. I don't know if he was playing around Days. I don't know. I mean, obviously Days is already been spent, so maybe playing around some sort of follow-up recast Days. Don't know how that would happen. Looks like just taking the 10, taking 1 more from the fetch land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that 10 is with the fetch land. Going down to 4. Shuffling away those cards that Lewis didn't like with that Brainstorm, and this is Lewis's shot. Lewis has got to go off now, and Lewis has, I think, everything they're going to need. I mean, we said that last time, and they fell short by like 1 or 2 Storm. There's still some mystery here in terms of what Lewis is going to draw, but we're going to get the Mystical Tutor. We're going to go and get High Tide. Brain Freeze is already in hand.
This is
Gush is already in hand. Snap is already in hand. I think we need to find Frantic Search. Frantic Search is going to help a lot.
This is pretty close. We are not there yet.
It's the classic, we're not there, but we definitely have enough tools that we may be there. We just don't know it yet.
Oh, they're going to turn 0. Okay.
Also, it turns. Not that that's going to matter. This game is for sure going to be over in 2 turns, one way or the other.
One way or the other. It's time for Lewis to discover. Okay, so we start off with a High Tide. Don't play the land first because it doesn't actually matter when you play the island. It always taps for 2 this turn.
And Lewis opted to keep Future Sight on that Brainstorm, so perhaps planning, maybe knowing I need to get a little lucky on Future Sight here, otherwise I can't go off, and so keeping that Future Sight hand.
I like that. I like that.
And here we see the Future Sight perhaps coming down with 1 additional blue floated.
Yep, I like that.
Here we go.
So
1 time. Can we get Frantic Search on top?
Okay.
That's Incinerate.
That's
Incinerate. You also have Gush to work with here. You have ways to manipulate the top of your library to find more cards off your Frantic Search.
And 2
or
mana.
Off your Future Sight.
Yep, and 2 mana for a Storm Count's not the worst.
No, but certainly not what you want to be doing. Instead, let's see what we got on top now.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's 2 mana, draw 3, or 4 mana, draw 3 cards. That's not. I guess
you would need to draw exactly Frantic Search.
We need Frantic Search.
You would need to draw exactly Frantic Search off that for this to work, I think.
Yes, which it's still possible we can do this. Okay, Stormcrown goes to 4.
That is Concentrate there on top of the library.
So 4 mana draw. It's like Ancestral Recall, but different.
A little different.
Yeah.
Tiny bit different.
It's
a sorcery, not an instant. That's how it's different.
That's right. So we're up to Concentrate. It's I would love to see a Concentrate with Yoda saying it to Luke when he's like falling down on Dagobah. Concentrate.
All right. So we are casting the Concentrate off the top. Storm count is 5. 1 blue mana floating.
We need to hit here. We need to hit.
We do get to see these cards as they're drawn, do we not?
No, we don't see these. We just see the next one.
Really?
Yeah, but I like the showmanship. Okay, we can still.
No, and we have a land drop.
We're still live.
We haven't spent land for turn.
Oh!
What did we draw off of it? We drew land.
Wow.
Brainstone, it looks like. No, Brainstone with Future Sight can be very good.
Wait, is that the Goblin Maker in his hand?
I don't know. There's a lot of cards in there. There's definitely Incinerate, and is that the new Empty the Warrens art? Let me check that art again.
Empty the Warrens. Okay.
Yeah, it is. That is the new Empty the Warrens art. So we do have that to at least
we can still
buy
do this.
time. Brainstone, very good with Future Sight here. Getting to stack the top of your library, basically just straight up draw 3.
Yes.
Though we are running out of mana here. We need to find a Frantic Search. Or not, we're just doing the Empty the Warrens.
Okay. For 13?
Empty the Warrens going to make...
I mean, for 7, for 14?
Yeah, so for 14 Goblin tokens. Those Goblin tokens don't line up great against the 2/2 Sapperling, or of course against the 4/7, but...
Or against the 1/1 Pinger.
But there's... yeah, you can also just chip one away every single turn.
Yep. This is rough.
Gonna get grindy here.
He does have
cards left in hand, tons of lands. Brain Freeze, Incinerate is left in hand for Lewis Kaplan. So,
but there's still Future Sight.
Future Sight still can.
And there's Brainstorm.
Generate a lot of. Brainstorm's been spent. We have Brainstone
no,
though.
I mean
yeah.
The other one. Yeah. There is still a way to do this.
I honestly think this Incinerate might end up being relevant going face if we can sneak through the next 2 turns with enough of these Goblin tokens to just make that lethal.
True.
We need to keep back chump blockers for Vertaloth and potentially potentially any other haste creature with you fires you off my. Here comes the Goblin Goon again.
Makes the other Goblin better, I guess.
Yeah, Goblin Goon not able to attack here because of all of the Goblin tokens on Lewis's side of the battlefield.
Goblin on Goblin, Goblin.
We also see Wall of Roots just running it out there. I may be like holding that in hand just so it keeps a mystery in my hand from Lewis. Make him play around something I might not have. So, let's try and figure out this math. You and I together. Can we figure this out?
Okay.
You got to keep up chump blockers for Vertaloth.
Well, you have to keep up chunk blockers for anything for the other one too, right?
Well, the Goon can't attack.
But the 2/2 is a 4/4 with the enchantment, right?
The 2/2 is effectively a 4/4, yes. So I guess you do kind of pretty much have to chump block everything.
Oh, interesting. Attacking with the Goblin, not pinging with it. That's curious. The Goblin's a 1/1, right?
Goblin is a 1/1, but it could be a 3/3. So again, with that Fires Yavimaya, you can't let it through. It's going to trade with a Goblin token though, which seems, I agree, it seems weird to not ping with it.
I don't love this necessarily.
All right, so block them all. Now we're down to just 11 Goblins.
Okay.
We can swing in and we get 1 blocked. They take 10, but we got to keep at least. I mean, this is the reason I like keeping the Wall of Roots in hand. Kenneth is hellbent. Now Lewis knows that you got to draw a creature off the top with haste. And you're probably only going to draw 1.
Oh, wow.
There's the Frantic Search. 1 card too deep.
Wow.
1 card too deep.
That's wild.
Now,
although
it's still going to be okay here because we have tons of lands to discard, so it's going to help us find more cards. And maybe, honestly, can we possibly cobble together a like half storm turn here?
It's possible he could still go off. Yes, definitely still It's
going to require a lot of luck on a future set.
Well, we actually don't know how many cards do we reckon Kenneth has?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think we're still at 26 in library.
Okay, so it's
no card draw on the red-green side of the table on the battlefield, so you got to do it all yourself.
That's tough.
Can't see the top card here. It's off the screen for us. Looks like Prophetic Bolt.
Prophetic Bolt, which is actually.
I mean, again, the Incinerate plus Prophetic Bolt, like,
it's actually
we could maybe cobble together some sort of cheesy win here. But really, I mean, so many of these goblins are on chump block duty that we can get through with so few of them.
It is possible.
It's possible.
It is possible that we could go to a tie here. It is possible.
I guess we are on turn 3. No, you're right. It is
possible we could just draw this out and go. Lewis could just tie this right here too. Do you risk it or do you brisk it here?
Me, I'm never playing for the draw personally. I don't.
Lewis agrees. Okay, get it
in 4/8. So, Lewis opting to keep exactly the number. Well, I guess so. The Goblin Goon won't be able to attack still because nothing's getting traded for.
This is correct. So the
Lewis
hasty
keeping
creature off the
1
top.
additional. So if you draw something, it makes 2 creatures. A Siege Gen Commander off the top immediately ends the game.
Lewis is going to win this. He's going to have the Prophetic Bolt. That's 7 damage. Lewis wins this. He wins on the last turn. Wow. This is incredible. Oh, my. This is insane.
We also have Incinerate, right? We haven't spent the Incinerate.
7 damage. This is exactly.
3,
this is
7, and then we have 8.
Wow.
What, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Well done.
On turn 5, are we going to see Lewis pull this out? What did Kenneth draw for turn?
That's incredible. Wow. So, okay. So we're gonna see it, and in about as soon as this game is done, we're gonna bring in the winner and bring in a special guest. We're just going to turns right now. Going to turn 4. So next turn is in. It's time to fly or die. But with
just
that,
waiting to see. And Kenneth, that prophetic bolt is face up.
so he knows.
Was the Incinerate face up off the future site too? I think it was in hand before.
I think Incinerate might have been off of Factor Fiction. I think he might have Factor Fiction the Incinerate, if memory serves. There's also
it was definitely Mountain Brainstorm.
and there's also Get You Fire Slinger. So we do have another opportunity to do damage.
That
Lewis is going to win right here, because there's only 4 blockers. So 7 gets through.
there's only 3 blockers. Can't even block with a Goblin Goon.
Oh, I'm sorry, can't. I'm so tired.
No, I mean it's a creature in play. You'd think you could block with it, but that
yeah.
Goblin Goon's got some rules
That's a
text on it.
scary. That's a coward. That's a coward goblin. Wow. This
Still,
has been,
we still no tip of what that card is. Kenneth keeping that card to himself. Whatever he drew.
if it's a big trampler, we're in business. If it's a trampler,
it's
we're in
clearly not
business.
something that's ending the game immediately, or I imagine this would have been on the stack a while ago.
Yeah, he's tanking and banking. So, what trampler could there be at this point? What's the opportunities here?
I'm not sure what we've seen out of this deck.
What's even in the card pool at this point? I don't even know what there could be.
Putting some mana in the mana pool here. Red.
Okay, 3 mana for
Goblin King.
well,
Wait, I'm very confused.
forbid with.
Does Lewis not realize that also pumps his own goblins? Goblin King, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I believe a symmetrical lord.
Wow, yes, you are correct. As we see on the screen, Goblin King, you're right. Good call.
Why did Kenneth even put that on the stack, one must ask?
He's next level. He was leveling Lewis.
Really interesting interaction there
So
from
Kenneth,
these top-level players.
This looks like a concede right here.
Because that would have made
Yes.
Lewis's goblins enormous.
Yeah. Well, Lewis might also know that he's just got it, and this is just a flex, but either way, this is game.
And Lewis snapped off that forbid. Lewis
Yeah.
was like, whatever you do, I'm forbidding. I'm
Whatever
got all
it
the
is.
extra cards in hands. The forbid was also bought back, so
Ken is like, aha, I tried to make you win.
no mana right now to
whatever it
recast the
is.
forbid. Also, this does tap us out of Incinerate on end step.
But
we have enough mana. We have mana for Incinerate and
We have
Prophetic Bolt
exactly
next turn.
enough. Well, we have enough +1 when we play our land next turn, but yes.
Yeah.
We have Xaxes, which, again, is incredible. What a game. So he's trying to think, okay, you block my 2 creatures. I pump one of them that doesn't have trample. Pump the other one that doesn't have trample. Can't attack with this one. That owns a wall. Maybe attack with this one. Maybe if he doesn't block. If he doesn't block, I can get in. See, I think the play was to go for the extra. If we had the extra 1 in play, we would have been there by now. And it would have it was enough it was the 2 damage plus the
Yeah, I mean, I guess we determined that Kenneth was just playing around some sort of Days gonna,
Snapcaster.
I mean, you get burned so bad by
Yeah.
Days in a previous match, it makes you misplay in future matches.
This is like Days with
This is it, folks. This is lethal right here.
Yep.
Kenneth has nothing in hand. We're going to see Incinerate and Prophetic Bolt end this game. Maybe just Prophetic Bolt,
Just
I think.
show just show him.
Flip him over.
Just flip him
This
over.
is going to be game. In turn 5.
Wow.
Could it have possibly come down more to the wire? I don't think so.
This is incredible. Oh, instead he's going to sling it for some reason.
All right, Fire Slinger,
Okay.
Prophetic Bolt.
Either way.
What
All right.
a match.
Good game.
Masterfully navigated by
Okay.
Lewis Kaplan. Incredible match of Magic. Love this old border foil cube. Getting to see some of these cards we haven't seen shine in ages really show off what they're used for. Special guest coming to the booth right now.
Yes, we are joined by the Crown Prince Oko, the trickster. Welcome.
Got a headset there if you don't mind. If you can maybe just talking to the mic if you don't want to take your crown off.
Oh my.
Oh boy. We needed to boost J-Bro's self-esteem.
Thank you. Oh. I am the Goblin King. So, welcome. How's your
you.
trip?
It's been incredible. The bar opened at 9 when the con opened, so that's pretty fucking cool.
They know how to party here in Madison.
Sorry. Yeah.
We are so happy to have the trickster of Oko. And is there anything? And we are also going to be joined by Lewis Cap. So, Lewis, get in here.
Here, Lewis, take my seat. Get in here with J-Bro.
Okay. We're going to have a double interview for you.
Incredible. I'm in. I'm down.
And actually, this goes to you. You are the Crown Prince now.
A crown? Am I a thief of crowns here?
Well,
I suppose it was willingly surrendered, so probably not,
My
but
head's a little too big for this.
Don't worry
I
about
think,
so welcome, congratulations, amazing
you.
play down to
Thank
the
you.
wire. That was one of the most incredible ways we could have seen that match end.
that game too was pretty rough with the forgetting to discard there. That was
You needed
not
one of
my
these in
finest
play.
moment. Not my finest moment.
You needed Oko in play.
That's true. That would have been much better.
Yeah. Was there any thought about getting Oko in, or?
I thought about it. Yeah, if I had seen one in the draft, I might have spent a pick on it.
There you go.
You know.
So we also want to say big ups to you for being an amazing local coming down. Many people have called you the dark horse of the tournament, that you're going to win it all.
I've heard that.
What says you?
I think dark horse sounds right. I think I'm very unlikely, but I wouldn't count me out just yet.
Don't count them out. What do you say?
I'm more of an elk person than a horse person, but you could be a dark elk.
Dark elk, I like
Actually, I think I got a +1 that could make you into a dark elk. I think
into it.
so.
All
Like
right.
we can make that happen.
Can we reveal your hidden identity on here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not secret.
So
Like
you are?
I'm Tabby Toeclaws. Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah. In addition to being Oko, I am also Tappy Toeclaws. I'm that loud dinosaur from the internet that plays Magic sometimes. I haven't actually played any Magic yet because I wanted to. You were waving me over, so I had to come over and
Yes.
and talk on the thing. But I'm really excited to get in on some of these cubes. It looks incredible.
Very fun.
I just can't believe how efficient this is running.
That's right.
As somebody who bounces around at a lot of different Magic events, watching Magic players move and sit down as fast as I have seen, I believe in world peace now, actually, I think. After seeing this, I think we can make it happen.
Well, a huge thank you to Libby and to Rob and to all of our judge staff and our amazing crew here. It's all thanks to them. And speaking of efficiencies, how about that brain freeze deck? Wow. Right down to the wire. We were watching you like a spider with a web, getting Caleb closer and closer, thinking he was going to win the next turn, and then bam.
It was tough. I could use a nap right now. I'm not going to lie. My brain is not meant for that. It's very frozen right now.
Yeah, well, on brand then.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with your newly acquired Victory Sprecher?
Oh, I'm going to chug it and then probably make my way to the bathroom very shortly after.
Makes sense. Well, Lewis Kaplan, local favorite, Papa Bear, as we like to call you around these parts. We're so happy to see you play some amazing Magic. We're looking forward to you in the top 64, and I am just thrilled you're here. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jabra.
Nice job. We'll see you soon. And Oko, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Let's go elk some people up.
Yeah, I wanna go pull myself in a draft and play myself, which is generally how I live my whole life. So I can't
Amen.
wait.
Well, thank you for checking us out. Thank you to Andy. Thank you to all the amazing people. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to NRG Games. We are looking forward to more wonderful content from you from the best 4 days in cubing. CubeCon. CubeCon?
CubeCon.
CubeCon?
CubeCon.
CubeCon!
CubeCon!